Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Well, to say that it's all about Chinook right now, I guess really goes without saying. You're right in the middle of the fishery down there in Astoria for Chinook, of course, and then silvers that are right on the doorstep. It's coho, okay? I still have a hard time calling them that. We got a lot going on, especially if that is what your focus is to chase fish around right now through the remainder of fall, and it's going to get really interesting. Now, I say that because it's already interesting, but with having a couple of different changes as far as which species you can target and what zones you can actually fish, if you're referring to the Columbia, you have to pay attention to all this stuff. It's going to close down, I think it's the 7th or something like that of September in the dead zone. In the lower parts of the river, it'll already be closed by then. Questions are already coming up about extensions, all that. All those questions are way too early. It all depends on what happens at Bonneville. That determines everything. If those fish are coming in at a high enough rate, yeah, there could be an extension or another continued opportunity to chase Chinook rather than waiting until I believe it's the latter part of September when they reopen it for retention of silvers specifically. So these are things that you just have to follow along with literally daily. And I don't even trust it when I do follow it daily, because it seems like it changes daily for whatever reason. But yeah, lots of great options, but it's not just the Columbia. Up and down the coast itself, if it's in Tillamook, Nehalem, further south, Rogue, Winchester, there's some great fishing going on, and it seems like every single place that everyone's targeting Chinook right now, there are absolute toads being caught. I keep hearing of a 30-pounder. It seems like every other day there's another fish. Oh yeah, it was 32 pounds. Now, years and years and years ago, that's not a huge story. But for the last several years, many, by the way, it's just rare to come across those, so it's nice to see some larger fish coming through. Why that is, it's hard to tell. But taking a look at fish counts, it'll give you a rough idea of what's going on, and not a lot happening here on the Willamette, but it is the time where you start seeing coho starting to make their way over the falls. They haven't updated it for 2 or 3 days. That will progress and become much more interesting as we work through the latter part of August going into September. It is a really good indicator of a lot of different things. Steelhead numbers going up. The Columbia right now is still great. Hopefully just keep climbing and keep moving and make it back to the rocks. That's all we care about. Fall Chinook, though, yet again, 6'10", you know, some of these fish are obviously going to pause below Bonneville before they make that final push over the dam itself. So nothing to get worried about. There's certainly a lot of fish below Bonneville heading their way up. Based on what's been going on down there in Astoria, yeah, the next week or two. This is the week that I start to get excited about chasing them around in the dead zone. I've been out a handful of times. Hopefully that grass starts to slow down. Reports from yesterday were the same thing. Really bad. Really just depends on the time that you're out there. If it's an incoming tide, generally it's not as bad, but it's still just one of those things that's very frustrating, gets annoying, and it gets old really quickly. Willamette, pretty normal for this time of year. Taking a look at the Columbia, really the only thing interesting there is how tall these tides are in this kind of an area based on where those tides are. Like if you were to get out now, low tide in Vancouver is somewhere around 8 a.m., maybe a little bit later than that. So the tides, the grass probably isn't all that bad right now out there. But when you start getting up into these areas, the tops of these tides, you're really going to have issues with grass. So, and it has been. I know that we've been talking about it a lot, and there's a reason for that. It is one of the worst years. I mean, for a lot of people say the same thing, worst year that they've seen for grass out there. You can certainly get away from it, and some days are worse than others, but yeah, it is certainly something to keep in mind. Don't forget, though, torture Jason Hambley. It's Jason at Procure.com. Send him that email, enter yourself in to win that prize pack, and hopefully you have a chance to win that prize pack. And right now, of course, it is kind of slanted towards Chinook. Not too far down the road, though, like we do each year. That will change to a steelhead pack, but we're quite a ways away from that. We got duck season coming. Holy smokes, every day. There's something else to be thinking about. Just got to plan ahead. Let's go ahead and check in with Drew Reeves and find out what this weather's going to do. And Drew, it doesn't look like things changed too much from yesterday, but we certainly got some warm weather coming.
Yeah, it'll heat up for sure at the end of this upcoming week. We've got some pretty nice temperatures leading up to that, though. We're going to maybe be slightly warmer than we were yesterday. It was 75 yesterday. We'll be in the upper 70s today. Right now, it's 66 degrees. It is quite cloudy out there. If you were up really early, you might have seen a sprinkle, but we're really done with the wet weather. We're going to see some sunshine this afternoon. Clouds build back into this evening, and then heading into tomorrow. Clouds once again. There is a very slight chance that we could see another sprinkle into tomorrow, but no more rainfall is on the way. And then we see that sunshine into tomorrow afternoon. By Tuesday morning, we're looking at nice sunny skies for the start of the day and through the day. But the big change is that we are going to see hot weather moving in towards the end of the week with those below average temperatures leading up to it. And it will continue to be more sunny through this week, really after tomorrow morning. So we're in the upper 70s today, tomorrow, and then a couple days into the low 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday begins the warm up. We climb above average. We'll be into the mid to upper 80s, but we do get hot Friday, Saturday. We're going to see both of those days into the low 90s. I think Friday probably a little bit hotter than Saturday, could climb to the mid 90s. And then it does look like right now, Sunday, there's a good chance that we see temperatures into the low 90s again as well. So we could see another small heat wave. We've only seen one actual heat wave so far this summer. This could be our second. Owen?
Dang it. I was hoping we could finish the whole season off, the whole summer off, and never have to worry about mid-90s or triple digits again.
Yeah, well, triple digits, we don't see that. I'm not saying we won't see it for the rest of summer, but at least not in this forecast.
Very good, Drew. Thank you again, as always, and we were glad to see you this weekend. Yeah. All right, looks like we've got a phone call coming in. We got Al from Malala on the line. He's got a reminder and a report. Al, what's going on for everyone?
Yes, I'd like to remind people that there's a two-rod validation above Oregon City for silvers.
Yes, there is.
If you have a validated tag for two rods, you can use it above Oregon City.
Yep, it's going to be kind of interesting that they've now made that legal. The only time I was up there in the last couple of years, it was interesting to see so many people pulling two rods around because they were just unaware that it wasn't the entirety of the Willamette. At least they did make it nice that you could do that above the falls. It's got the potential to be a very interesting year. I don't want to dive into it too much because I don't want any flat tires. I don't want to go see Dorian over at Les Schwab. Also, if you know, you know, everyone. Yeah, but it looks like you got a report as well. What's going on?
Yes, I called my favorite spot. I fish from Buoy 10 up to Portland, and they said there was only a few silvers caught in my favorite fishing spot down there. And I was hoping that this rain would bring in some Chinook, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Well, you know, as far as the main stem, there's been some silvers caught up into the dead zone. You know, not too far up.
Oh, yeah, silvers,
yeah, somewhere around, you know, like the 205 area or somewhere in there. The report we got this past week is that there was a couple silvers caught up there. But, yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit early for those fish to make any sort of pushes into smaller systems. But, again, with the way things were early on in the saltwater and what the reports already are down in the estuary as far as numbers of silvers being caught, it has the potential to be a really, really good year. I don't want to jinx it by any means, and I'm hoping, Al, personally, that I might be able to get out with the drift boat on one or two of these tributaries post elk season and have some luck with that. As long as we get a little bit of water, I'm really looking forward to that, now having a drift boat in the arsenal. But Al, as always, we appreciate it, and thanks for the reminder as well. Have yourself a great Sunday, okay?
Thank you.
You bet, sir. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to get everything put together during this break, crossing our fingers that technology and everything works for us. But for the first time, we're going to have Dan Fisher. He is the owner of Fisher's Guide Service. He's down in the Astoria area, targeting Chinook and silvers and probably whatever else he can come across for the very first time here on Outdoor GPS. We'll have that in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.